As you see, I decided to go with the cup this time.
Yeah, the Nickelodeon cup, it's orange on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you got an orange drink, but it turns out it's just orange.
Well, they didn't have one of the big high-tech, genetically altered machines in there with the different flavors. Had to go with the Coke Zero.
Is orange really like even the Jurassic Park color? It's red, isn't it? That's
Is
so
this
odd.
is this one, yeah, a Nickelodeon movie now?
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's the color of my Good Burger VHS.
I don't know, at times. Kind of felt like a Nickelodeon movie, didn't it, a little bit? Especially when the family got involved.
I want to get to that family.
That goddamn family.
Jesus Christ. So, well, I did like, though, that the movie opened like a Final Destination movie with the candy wrapper getting stuck in the door.
You know, as soon as I saw that candy, I will say this, I was like, all right, movie, how's the candy wrapper gonna kill someone? I was a little interested. And then when they actually revealed it, I went, oh, come on. There's two things I got really excited for at the very beginning of this movie. One is when you see the frozen two-headed dinosaur. I went, yes, we're gonna get crazy!
Yeah.
And it's never in the movie. Or anything like nothing quite like that. And then, yeah, the candy wrapper, I'm like, I just raised an eyebrow, like, well, I know it's gonna be stupid, but how creatively stupid? And it's not creatively stupid, it's just dumb.
What do you mean the Rancor was in it? We'll get to the we'll get to the two. We'll get to King Ghidorah in the next one.
That was one of the few things I liked, actually. That's a good way of calling it, the Rancorosaurus.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, because that's what I feel like they should have gotten to. So many things in these sequels they should have gotten to earlier, and that's something where I'm like, okay, if you're gonna make weird dinosaurs, make them weird dinosaurs. They straight up say, well, no, we're gonna genetically alter. There's a whole island, because there's always a whole island, just dedicated to genetically altering dinosaurs to make them more interesting in our attractions and stuff. And I'm like, I am all for that. Please, man, don't be like, we made raptors bigger. You know, I mean, and like, that's it. Like, give them 5 arms, do these crazy things, and they do a little bit in this. Still didn't go as far as it should have, but that is the one thing where I'm like, all right, it's weird. With every 5th sequel, we get something that should have been like in movie 3. You know what I mean? They open the park in the 4th movie. They finally get some weird looking altered dinosaurs. And what is this, the 6th or 7th, something like that?
The 7th.
Yeah, the 7th. I mean, that's way too late. And we're still on the stupid island and doing all this other stuff. Sorry, I'm sorry. Jumping ahead. I did this in my review too. I'm not even that angry at this movie, but I think just because there's so many, it just wears me down. And I just get frustrated and pissed off at them.
I wasn't worn down with this one. So with this movie, in a lot of ways, it was what I thought it was going to be from the trailer. Where I saw the trailer, it wasn't that I thought it looked terrible. It just looked like what largely it turned out to be, which is the last few movies were dog shit. So here we have this one here that is going to try to maybe win some reviews back and whatnot by playing it very, 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 very safe and recalling back to elements that we're seeing in the first couple of movies. There are a lot of moments that do remind you of very iconic stuff from that first one.
If it was empty.
Oh, sure.
With the exception of the first film, every time I hear da 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 da, all I think of is I'm feeling nothing. Every single time I hear that music, and it's because it only worked in the first one, because that's the only one where they really... I mean, it feels like they really had something to deliver, something new, something exciting, something groundbreaking, and the music reflected that too, and every movie has been trying to recapture that to varying degrees of bad, but they're all still bad, in my opinion.
This one is certainly trying to, Gareth Edwards, who directed it, is certainly trying to capture the look and feel of a Spielberg movie, from how it's shot, from how certain lines are delivered, from certain points that the music kicks in. A lot of those, the look of awe that certain characters have in it.
To a point, the scene, I think I know what you're talking about, with the dinosaurs. I can only describe it. It's the really long tails. That's the only thing I describe.
Yeah.
To a point where if you just showed me that and I didn't know what Jurassic Park was, I'd be like, why is this music suddenly so pretty? Why are they just like, whoa? And I'm just like, why? They've seen dinosaurs before, and it's because they're so clearly trying to recreate that moment from the first one where you first see the Brontosaurus there.
They are, and he is trying to capture not even just Jurassic Park, but there's also a lot of elements of Jaws in this, and Raiders, even a little E.T. What I did kind of like about that moment that does the Brontosaurus thing again is, you're right, it is another thing in this movie that, okay, that's reminding you of an iconic part from the first. But I did sort of like the context to it here, which is the movie does set up something clever where dinosaurs are kind of a pain in the ass now, and we take them for granted because they cause traffic jams and they do a lot of annoying stuff, and you know, people are late from work and shit. So this, I at least kind of got the sense that when certain characters, particularly Scarlett Johansson, are looking at this after years of everyone being kind of used to dinosaurs at this point, this was kind of characters after all of these years sort of soaking in the beauty of some of these things. At least, sure, it was a moment that, like a lot of other stuff in this, where it's like, oh, this is like that, this is like this. I was at least like, I at least understand there's a little bit of context there. Truth be told, I like this movie better than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's great. I think it helps. It comes after Dominion and Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, but have you liked any of the sequels? I think you like
kind of like
right?
3.
I get that. It just for light, dumb entertainment, it didn't win me over, but I'm like, all right, it's short, it's quick, it's got some fun moments. I like Sam Neill, you know, it's like, it still didn't do it for me, but I'm like, this one's one of the least offensive ones.
Yeah,
you know?
And this one I think is the best since the first one. This is a very flawed movie. It really, really is. But in the moments that were there was more about it that I did like than disliked, and there's plenty of things I disliked about it. But yeah, they're back on the island again, but I certainly get why they're there. Like Did
you get why the temple was there? What is this, a temple? And they never go into it.
The dinosaurs have to worship something.
I guess so. I mean, even stuff I thought, like I saw then again, I thought maybe it was going to be like a Jurassic Park 3 thing where it's like, it's a treasure hunt. Like, all right, again, go crazy with it. I don't care. Just give me something to remember. But they just have a scene where they're like, what was this, a temple? And they never bring it up again. I'm like, why have set designers make that? Why do anything with that? Maybe they Rogue One did again, where it's like it just got chopped down to a million pieces.
We got $300 million. We got to use that somewhere. I don't know. There is also part of me that like kind of likes it when like a movie uses like $300 million to basically make a Roger Corman movie. Like
I wanted more of that. That's what I want more.
Yeah.
I either wanted to capture the amazing epicness of the first one, the wonder and the terror and all that, or I wanted to go bonkers crazy, which, 3 didn't quite go that far, but I mean, again, like that one feels kind of like a Roger Corman movie to me, in the best way. Yeah. So that's why that one's one of the lesser offensive ones. But yeah, for me, you were talking about how people take dinosaurs for granted.
Yeah.
In this world. And maybe if we did in our world, maybe I would buy that. But because these films still make $1 bajillion by feeding us absolute dog shit, we are still obsessed, clearly, with dinosaurs. And I just cannot believe when they are back. I don't care if it's 100 years later.
Yeah.
We're still going to be obsessed with them. And I think, too, that they kind of have the balls to be like, well, they just got so used to them in the city and they died out, so people kind of take for granted and they're not really that big a deal anymore. I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't it be nice if you showed us that? Like, wouldn't it be nice if we saw more of the dinosaurs in the city instead of going to these stupid islands all the time?
I agree.
So everything they're trying to build up, I'm like, no, I don't relate to this. I don't connect to this because you never showed me anything. You didn't show me any of the cool, fun stuff. You gave me the same boring shit I've seen over and over, and I just have no interest to when they do finally get to something that's kind of interesting, you know, like the genetically altered dinosaurs. I feel like it's just way too late, and there's not enough of it.
I think they probably just wanted to go back to the island because Fallen Kingdom and Dominion were certainly off of it. They did go...
Were they? I thought they were really on the... Okay, so...
weren't they? Like,
no. So, okay, the one that was in the mansion, about half of that is not on an island. That's in a house.
Because it had the volcano.
So I get that. Yeah. But the one after that, there's like maybe a fourth of a movie where it's not on the island, where they're like doing the little motorcycle chase, which that was cool. But then they just go back to an island again.
They?
Yeah, it's still on an island. They all blend together. That's the problem. I don't blame you for not remembering that, because they all just blend together.
I think the crazy stuff that I remember about those is stuff that wasn't on the island, whether it was in Dominion, where it's Mission Impossible, and then it's the Swarm, and then there's the stuff in the mansion in Fallen Kingdom. So this, you know... Sure, it's not an original movie at all. It is one of those where we just kind of want to do this quasi sort of reboot and bring the island back and make it a pretty simple story, honestly. And it was a story where it's like, okay, I get everyone's motivation here in doing what they're doing. There's characters the thing is at the end of the day, there was still just a lot of it that I kind of enjoyed. Despite the fact it's not an original movie at all, but I like the set, not all of them, because we'll get to some of these other characters in a minute, but I liked a lot of the characters that they set up here. I like their chemistry together. Scarlett Johansson, I thought, was very entertaining in it.
I thought she was a good choice.
Yeah.
I think she's good in action. The way I always describe her, she reminds me a little bit of... it's going to sound weird, but Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, in that she can just kind of give a look. She can say a line that means nothing on paper, but she can suddenly give it like she has that 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
You know, and so does the other guy.
Mahershala Ali.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And they have fantastic chemistry
They
together
do.
in this, and they both have that look, and they're both good in action.
Yeah.
They both are not working with the best dialogue, but they can make it work where it sounds like, yes, they have history. They've done this before, and they're good at it, and they're charming, and I like watching them do it. Those two I liked. Everyone else, I feel like everybody is trying. I can't think of any specific bad performances in this, but there are certainly badly written characters. I'll say the father in the family that pops up later. I do like the father. I like him all right. He just looks like somebody who's like just trying to, all right, let's just get through it. You know, again, just the guy that does what needs to be done. Like, you know, some of the other characters in this. I didn't really get into the scientist guy.
I liked him,
even though I know he could be worse. I know he could be played worse.
Yeah.
At first, I thought I was going to like the evil businessman, because the dialogue that he has at first with Scarlett Johansson, they play off each other really well, and they have good chemistry, and I like the way they're kind of negotiating each other to convince the other to come down to, you know, what they want. And they both play it really well, and again, you can tell they've both done something like this before. But then when he decides he's going to go with them, and at first I was kind of excited, because, all right, I like this character, and then he's every character like this.
Yeah.
And even though he's played well, he just couldn't save it. He couldn't bring anything to make the character more interesting. He's every business guy who wants to do the wrong thing for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% sure how this turned into a commentary for healthcare. How'd Jurassic Park do that? But
we both grew up with Flintstone vitamins.
That's right, okay. That's the connection. I had my Roger Rabbit moment. That's the connection.
The second that dude put the handcuff on the briefcase, I was like, can we just get to
Where the arm gets ripped off.
Yeah. So yeah, he was certainly every villain that you've seen in this so far. There was some good dialogue at the beginning when they were doing negotiating and stuff.
I was
like
liking that a lot.
Yeah.
That was actually a bit where I was like, ooh, like, maybe this will work. And then, again, even though he's not played bad at all, just as soon as the geeky scientist guy pops up, I'm just like, okay, so we're doing this shtick. And as it kept going, that person's gonna die, that person, oh, you didn't get a line, that person got, you don't speak English, you're gonna die. It's just so easy to figure out.
It was easy to figure out who was going to die for sure. What got me was some of them died quicker than I thought they would.
Mm-hmm.
So there were still some deaths that, again, it didn't shock me that a certain person would die. It was just like, oh, I thought this person would actually be in the movie.
There was
longer.
one I thought it would be long. I think is the first one to get axed off. I was like, oh, kind of thought he'd be the halfway point. All right.
Yeah, I know, right?
But if that's the biggest surprise, I mean,
I guess
Jurassic Park movie.
Well, I guess if you're gonna, the kind of movie this is, already you're gonna kind of know who dies and who isn't.
Yeah.
So I guess that's their way of like playing with it. It's sort of like this guy that you thought would, be the Vince Vaughn of this movie is like,
I wish he died.
So I was I liked the chemistry with the characters that we were set up with at the beginning of it. I was riding with them and everything. It was playing along. Not great, just better than I thought it would be.
And I agree with you. You brought up Jaws, and that's a very good when they are chasing, for whatever reason, whenever the dinosaurs are near water in this, I don't know why it is, the scenes are usually pretty good, because I thought the dinosaurs didn't look that good in this movie. I thought the CG looked really fake, really dated, kind of bizarre, but whenever they're underwater or they're walking in water, there's something about the setup and the effects and everything that look good and they look more real. And maybe, I hate underwater levels in video games, but like, and I usually do in movies too, but in this one, those scenes strangely work really well. And I do think of the first time where they're trying to chase the one in the water.
Yeah.
And it is fun. It is exciting. Again, that's something Gareth Edwards, even though I think his films are usually pretty boring. The one thing he's pretty good at doing is really making you feel like you're there. He shoots in a way where you feel like you're on the boat and you're in that jungle. Even that jungle, I was saying in my review, had my favorite setup in this was, like, man, I wish they did more with this, was the jungle looks like a place where the dinosaurs could hide. There's a lot of sharp things sticking out. There's a lot of like stumps and things are kind of squarish. And then you'll just see something go in the water. Like, what was that? Is that going to pop? Again, anything with the water usually works. And so I do agree. There are things in this movie where I'm like, man, I wish it went further, but I can't act like there's nothing in it.
Yeah, most of the action scenes I found pretty exciting in this. And you're right about the water, because that raft scene is like the only scene I liked with that family. The raft scene I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, I was riding along with it for a while, and then that goddamn family showed up. And you know what? It isn't even like they annoyed me. Except maybe the dipshit boyfriend.
God, he was the worst.
Yeah, except for him.
And again, I feel bad because he's not played bad.
No, he's not.
Written awfully.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely awful.
And I'm just going like, these are studio note characters. That's what they are. These characters don't need.
You need a little kid.
Yeah.
You need a teen. You need a father connecting with somebody in the family. You need the little kid there so you can have the cute little dinosaur that she carries in her backpack.
Yeah.
That doesn't come into the plot at all. I thought at least the mother was going to come around and save the day or something like that when one of the dinosaurs are attacking at the end. Yeah. That would have been, but that would give him that character purpose too. But that goes nowhere.
That's one thing that, and I hated the previous 3 movies, but the one thing that they did do well is the character in it that's a toy, Blue, was part of the plot of those movies and was the only character I liked in those 3 movies. This, Dolores, the character of Dolores, the dinosaurs, it isn't annoying and there's cute moments, but it's like the rest of the family. There's no reason for this to be here. And so I'm watching this And I'm liking the mercenaries and everything that they're doing. Whenever it cuts to the family, with the exception of the raft scene, it grinded to a halt for me. Because I was like, you should have picked one or the other. Either this is a movie about mercenaries going to get
these blood samples. Cures heart disease. Was that it?
Yeah, that cures heart disease.
Because why not?
Or it should be a movie about the family that gets shipwrecked on this island. One of the two. It just decides to do both. It breaks the tone several times. And so those characters, you take those characters out, which wouldn't be hard, you got what this movie should be, which is a 90-minute movie.
Yeah, that's true. Adding the family in does add like an extra 40 minutes, something like that.
It does.
And what's funny too is that I'm with you. I was, not that I was in love with it, but I was with the mercenaries enough. Especially Scarlett Johansson and the other dude. I thought just really, I'm like, there's a scene where they're just talking about, I don't even know entirely what they're talking about. They're just talking about their backstory. They're being kind of vague about it, but like, I was just intrigued. I was hanging off their every word. They were just so interesting. And at the very least, from what I can remember with the other movies, whenever they had a kid character or a family, they worked their way in organically. They were already somewhere part of the plot or part of the story, or it made sense that, in the original that, John Hammond would want to bring his grandkids along. It's like, it makes it, he's proud. He wants to show it off. Totally makes sense. Here, even though I don't know how you would work it in, with the mercenaries or whatever, it's literally just you're with them, you're following this, everything, and it just cuts to the middle of the ocean with this little boat. I mean, has no connection to anything. And it's like, well, these are characters now. And it's just, like you said, completely jarring. And as soon as they set up, well, this is the little kid, this is the angsty teen, this is the stupid boyfriend who never does any work, I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate this. I mean, they just set up immediately to be hated. And I feel bad for these actors because, I mean, I'm with you. I've never had just immediate hatred.
Same. Like, I mean, I'll give it this. Like, at least, with the exception of the boyfriend. It was more of an annoyance of how unnecessary they were.
We've seen far more annoying characters.
That girl from the previous two.
Yeah, far worse.
Shit.
But just the fact they're in this movie, and yeah, I do agree. The boyfriend is just so obnoxious, and I just want to go like hold that actor's hand and just be like, I'm so sorry.
I know, dude. Yeah, I mean, he's playing it like it's written.
Yeah,
like,
he is trying so hard to get something out of this performance, but it's just written so bad.
And I'm with you on that scene with Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali, like when they're on the boat and they're giving each other's backstories. I was sitting there like, this is a character exposition dump, but they're delivering it really, really well.
Yeah.
Like,
they do a really, really good job. Yeah. And that's why, and they are in the majority of the movie, so, and that does help. And, even when they have to say something dumb or do something dumb, I'm like, I'm still on board. I mean, they're very charming actors, and they know how to, they know how to make garbage like this sound interesting, and then they do a good job.
So where do you rank this among the others? Like,
man, obviously I like the first one the best. That, I go back and forth between 3 and Jurassic World because I really don't like Jurassic World, but at least the park is open, and I really did ride a lot for me. So I guess I'll be nice and say that's next, though. If I'm in a bad mood, maybe I wouldn't say that. Then 3, then probably this. Yeah,
I'd have to go back and watch 3 again, but beforehand, of the sequels, 3 was kind of the only one that I had some fun with. And this one, through a lot of it, I did too. I'd have to watch 3 again to kind of compare the two, but it did. Well, this isn't gonna make this wouldn't even make my top 20 of the year. But as far as sequels in this franchise go, low bar.
Yeah.
But I think I did like it the best since the first one.
I guess there's a little bit more of a wow factor. You know, because in Jurassic World, it wasn't just the park opening up. That ending with the T-Rex coming back was pretty great. And then and again, with 3, it knows what it is. It's dumb fun. It gets in, gets out, it's short. There's some funny moments, you know. It's like, all right, you know, whatever. And yeah, and I guess this would be right in the middle, because then there's 3 films under that, right? Lost World, and then the other 2 bad Jurassic World movies. So, but again, I haven't liked any of the sequels at all. So I may take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I definitely like this better than the Jurassic World. And that Jurassic World, yeah, it's not as bad as Fallen Kingdom or Dominion, but even in Jurassic World, a majority of those characters I just couldn't stand.
Oh, me too. I could, and the dinosaurs look bad. And I was really shocked. What was your takeaway from the effects in this in terms of the dinosaurs? Because I thought, for as bad as the previous film was, the dinosaurs looked good. They surprisingly looked really, really good. It's probably the best they looked since the first movie.
Yeah.
And they have not looked that good in most of the movies. I guess parts of Lost World, they looked okay when they're really there, but most part they haven't looked good. So I was really shocked they looked as fake as they did in this.
I didn't have that problem with this.
No?
When I had problems with effects in this, it wasn't the dinosaurs. It was there were some effects with the human characters, like you could kind of see when there was some not great CGI and some of the rock climbing parts of it, if someone was falling or some of that stuff. Then I kind of noticed, like, I was like, oh, that doesn't look real. The dinosaurs, there wasn't really a moment I had a problem with how they looked. I've only seen, actually, now that I think about it, I've only seen the sequels one time each.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard for me to compare them.
I had to go back and watch Lost World. And well, actually, no, I've seen them all twice, because I had to go back and watch them to review.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
Not me. Because of my show, I've seen the Carnosaur movies more than once.
But again, what does that say? That I had to remind myself I saw them more than once.
Right. Yeah.
Probably even more than that, because again, I had to edit the footage and take the notes and everything. I mean, it's like, yeah, just what does that say about these movies?
And I've seen Jurassic Pork and Jurassic Hotel, which was a Hunger Games knockoff, weirdly enough.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, that's the movie where they're like, we got this game show, it's like the Hunger Games, but you gotta run around this empty hotel and dinosaurs chase you.
Sounds actually, no, it does sound like the one where they're just stuck in a mansion, the more I think about it.
Oh, it has just as many sequels as the Jurassic Park movies.
You know, this is something, this is a total nitpick, but I want to know if you ever noticed this in movies. Whenever there's a character, it feels like this is an older trope, but it still pops up every once in a while, where somebody doesn't speak English. It can be someone from another country, it can be an alien, it can be whatever, and they say something, they have a little translation at the bottom, the guy's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, so when are we gonna go? It says the translation at the bottom, at that time, huh? Okay, why can one speak and the other can't, and how do they understand each other?
Because they're reading the subtitles.
Yeah, I never understood that. It's like, and it seems to be in Spielberg stuff and Lucas stuff. They do it all the time in Star Wars and a lot of Spielberg. I just never ever followed that. And I'm always like, because I remember that even when I was a kid, I'm like, wait, how do they? Oh, I'm just a dumb little kid. Maybe I'll put together when I'm older, and I still don't know how they do it.
I'm used to it in exploitation movies, though, where all actors are speaking a different language, and then it was just dubbed over. No one knew the context for anything in Women's Prison Massacre.
If this was a kung fu movie and it was dubbed or subtitles, and they had to kung fu dinosaurs, I would be okay. I give this film a better grade.
Well, if the sequels to this start going even more batshit.
I want them to go batshit. That's the problem. Either, like I said, have a wow factor that's on par with the first one, which is, 30 years old? Something like that. And older than that, 32 years old. Or just go nuts, go crazy, have fun with it. And it's just so weird. they feel like they have to keep limiting themselves to just dinosaurs on an island. Most of the time, they don't look good. We have to have characters make the same dumb mistakes. Don't usually talk about ideas. I mean, they have to talk. Like I said, the focus of this is healthcare. How the hell did we go from hunting dinosaurs to healthcare?
Sometimes that works. It's the Saw 6 of Jurassic Park movies.
I guess so,
It's a
yeah. I
healthcare
don't know.
film.
When you have to do that, I feel like you're running out of ideas.
Well, I think they did that a long time ago.
Yeah, or they're not taking advantage of the ideas they do have. I mean, like, again, have dinosaurs in the city. Have them genetically altered and everything. I mean, like I said, in this one, we finally got a dinosaur that has, like, what, like 4 arms and, like, you know, something like that. It's like, why are we getting this in the 6th or 7th movie? I mean, when they introduced this idea, I mean, what, maybe in the 3rd, something like that? I mean, at least the 4th. So, yeah, I don't know. It's, wasn't my thing.
What grade would you give it?
You know, it's funny because I always do a 4-star rating on mine, and then I'm always like, what does that equal out in grade? And it's like, but sometimes, like, when I think of a grade, I'm like, well, that probably equal out to a C, but a C was a good grade for me in high school. So,
I know, right?
Yeah, so whenever I give it a C, I feel a little weird. So I'm just like, you know, maybe like in my review, I think I gave it 2 stars, but like grade-wise, D+. Something like that.
Sometimes I wish I had the star rating.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, sometimes I wish I had the grade rating too, because I'm like, because I like the little plus, the minus, and stuff like that. You can kind of work with it a little bit.
There's more options with the grade rating for sure. I just grew up with the, like, Ebert 4-star rating, so even when I give something a grade, I'm usually like, well, what, in my head, I'm like, well, what else of the star rating? I'd give it a B-. It would be higher, but man, all that stuff with the family really kind of sunk it down to a B- for me. I'll admit, I went into this with low expectations. So, you know, when it even kind of mildly, like, went past that, I'm like, oh, well, this movie's great, A+. Like,
I think it kind of went the opposite for me, because I saw the teaser and went, oh, that's going to suck. But then I saw... Again, the genetically altered dinosaur. All right, I saw the little temple in there. Like, oh, it's gonna kind of be like a B movie or something, or like an Indiana Jones, Roger Corman thing. All right, and then I saw Gareth Edwards was attached, and I was like, I don't know. Like, that's kind of a fun combo, and I think that was my mistake. I think I started to get my hope, not much, but like a little bit, and I was just like, oh, no, it's the same old stuff.
When did you see it? Was it crowded when you saw it?
No, well. I mean, I did see it pretty early. I think it was like 11 a.m., something like that. I saw it pretty early. But I mean, there was like, for an 11:30 show, I mean, there's like a handful of people. It didn't get much of a reaction. I mean, there's a little kid who was just, yay, dinosaur! Like, after it was done, he was applauding and stuff. I'm like, good for you, man. I wish I had that wide-eyed innocence, interest, that just seeing a friggin' dinosaur was all I needed, but god damn it, I need a good movie attached to it.
Mine got applause at the end of it.
Yeah.
So my screening was packed.
I'm sure it's gonna make $1 bajillion.
Wait, I don't know, because like what I'm like, this movie is way better than the last 3, which means it probably won't make as much money. But also, I don't know how to gauge this shit anymore, because like
neither do I.
Last week I was like, oh, Megan 2 will probably do really well. My theater was really crowded, and it bombed.
Yeah.
This theater was packed, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, 4th of July weekend, though, dinosaurs, Jurassic Park,
You're
at
right.
the very least, it has to do good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to do well as some of the other ones, but I mean, like, I'm with you. I can't predict this stuff. Why am I even trying to predict
I know.
it? You know why I'm doing it? To make my joke work better, because I was just going on and on about, like, you know, oh, look, some fake-ass dinosaurs on an island. We haven't seen it before. Oh, my God. Give it all our money. And I'm just like, I went nuts in my review for some reason. I don't even hate this movie, but I just started off so angry, and halfway through, I'm just like, I'm sorry. I don't know why. I don't even hate this movie that much. I think I'm just so sick of Jurassic Park sequels as a whole. You know, I'm just so done with them.
Oh, what franchise movie do we have next week? What is it? Is it next week Superman or Fantastic Four? Or
I think it's Superman, because I got an early screening of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's on Monday because it's like my busiest day. But I'm like, I'm taking that to see Superman.
Yeah. Trick question. It's I know what you did last summer.
I know what you did last summer. Superman.
The crossover I never knew I wanted.
We killed someone. You can't. He's Kryptonian.
Oh, that would make more sense in that third movie.
Yeah.
He was a ghost. All right. Well, I'm glad my brain farts have started waiting to the very end.
I think you were going to say bye.
Hey, what? Yeah. Bye-bye.